I've always loved music and the instruments that make it. There's something about music that connects us with our memories and identities. I've been playing guitar for more than 15 years and have always enjoyed that moment when I open the case, pull out the guitar, and play those first few notes. I can feel the vibrations that make the instrument seem alive. A number of years ago, I had a friend send me an article about Duncan Africa, a company that was building guitars in a different way than I'd ever heard of before. I ordered one more than 6 years ago, and it's become one of the few things that I own that has helped me really think through how the things that I acquire affect everyone who's been involved in making them. All things require upkeep and maintenance, and it's usually when I sit down to change my strings that I'm most reminded of this amazing story and the people behind this instrument. I sat down with Jay, the founder of Duncan Africa, to get a clearer picture of what it is they do and why they do it.
My name is Jay Duncan, and I'm a guitar maker. I've been a guitar maker for 20 some years. I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and I've always had a big dream that we're now working on in Africa. The long and the short of it is I teach guitar building in Africa. Kind of a way for guys there to earn a living while learning a skill. In the end, what's going to happen is we're going to actually help our guys to own their own company. They're going to build their own manufacturing company. And in doing so, they're going to be supporting their community, they're going to be supporting their families, and it's going rather well right now. We created this thing called Duncan Africa, or the Duncan Africa Society. It's a small nonprofit charity in Canada that allows us to raise funds to run a trade school in Africa. I think we've made over 300. I know we've just serial numbered number 371, which is very cool. So the guitars are really getting out there. They have a great reputation, and they are made by a small group of guys in Africa that are, they come from real humble beginnings, but they are feeling really great about where their life's direction is going. Life in Mipigi is generally pretty hard. A lot of our guys come from broken homes. They come from homes where mom and dad didn't have any work. I know our main guy who's with us for a long time, David, he grew up actually in an internment camp because civil war was raging through Uganda. And so a lot of them come from beginnings like that. And life in Mipigi itself right now is fairly peaceful. You see little kids running off to school every morning. Probably about 60% of adults might have some form of a job, which leaves you with the other 40% unemployment rate, which is terrible. Our guys are paid a living wage for their work while they're at the school, so essentially they're apprentices. And with that, they're able to somewhat support, if they have a small family. A number of our guys have maybe a wife and a couple of children maybe, but they're stretched financially for sure on that. Yeah.
I wanted to hear from the people who built the guitars themselves, but I couldn't just pick up and go to Uganda. Jay suggested that I connect with Simon, the shop manager, via email, and he ended up sending me a video where he answered some of my questions about why he does what he does and the difference that he sees it making.
Hello, I'm Simon Adyaka, the shop manager, Summit Trade School, Duncan Africa, Uganda. Summit Trade School is a research school teaching how to build guitars. Duncan Africa guitars, they have got a warm tone that every player would like to have one at his hand, church, studio, or elsewhere. That tone, it has impressed so many people. I'm married to Veronica, and we have a son. He's 2 years and some more months. My family loves reaching out to the less privileged. It is a fulfilling, helping young boys in the community. I have seen many becoming responsible adults. Currently, my wife Veronique teaches fashion designing and tailoring for the school dropouts. This started in 2013. So far, 7 people succeeded, and they are now employed. I've started harvesting fruits from nowhere to see community members, community kids, community people, getting involved on their own personal projects or work.
A big part of the vision behind what we're doing is not just to build world-class guitars, but to give the guys a sense of we can do this, a sense of our future can be better. Everything that's behind it, the heart that's behind it, is about empowering them to be the solution themselves. They don't need Western money. What they do need is an opportunity, and that's the key thing that we're offering, an opportunity to change their future and their family's future, hopefully for a long, long time.
I've got another friend, Andy, who has spent a lot of time in Africa, visited the Duncan Africa shop, and thought through the things that we own and the impact that they have on the people who make them. I knew he would have some good insights into what it is to understand the lives behind the things that we buy, so I paid him a visit.
Hi, my name is Andy Harrington. I'm the CEO of the Wellspring Foundation for Education. We're a development agency that's active in Eastern Central Africa. Our mission is to see a Christian values-based high level of education given to the children of that region. We work alongside governments and partner organizations in order to make that happen. And really we're focused on breaking the cycles of poverty, and we believe that education is a key way to make that happen. So I just had the opportunity to ride a motorbike from Cape Town to Kigali, which is just under 10,000 kilometers. More than 10,000 kilometers for me because I kept getting lost. And I visited 10 countries during that time and a number of projects, and just had the opportunity to just be out in the middle of God's creation with beautiful creatures and beautiful human beings. As part of that, I was able to visit the Duncan Africa workshops. And it was actually the last day before I finished, so it was kind of a penultimate thing that I've been looking forward to the whole trip. So I rode into Mipigi, the town where it is. It's actually more a village than a town, it's a very small place. Got lost for about an hour in the back streets trying to find the workshops, eventually found it, and was welcomed in by this wonderful, wonderful team that were there. And I think when I talk about beauty and people being beautiful, it was really summed up in what I saw there in two ways. Firstly, they're just lovely human beings. And they're really creating something beautiful. These guys in this workshop know they are creating something that is world class. And that's a thing of beauty to see, that you've got this workshop set up in the middle of a village in Africa, creating a world class instrument. The dignity and worth that people feel by creating something beautiful with their hands has all sorts of knock-on impacts in their lives that are way beyond the economic empowerment that the project like this is bringing. It really creates in you a sense of, look at what I did, look what I've created. And I think in a place where many people have been told you don't count, you're in the bottom of the pile, you're people in poverty, so what? The powerlessness and disenfranchisement that's created through that is being combated by a really well thought project like this. It's really interesting in terms of how we in the West consume, and we actually I have a colleague here, Kelly Walkington, a friend who I work with. And we've done a lot of work here at Wellspring thinking about ethical consumerism. What does ethical consumerism look like? What would it look like to be ethical in the way we buy, the way we use the products that are around us? So Kelly decided that she would go into Coquitlam Mall, which is one of the biggest malls in the area. And she spent months visiting every single outlet, which was around 250 outlets in the mall, and actually researching the ethical policies, the trade policies of every single one of those outlets there. And she's actually published a blog called Living Justly. We need to be thinking when we walk into a mall, okay, what is my the sites that talk about slavery footprint. What am I contributing to here? What am I helping? What am I hurting? There are companies that you can very quickly find out about if you study this, who have deeply unethical practices verging on the edge of slavery. There are other companies that are highly ethical. Do you want to spend 50 cents more to get the ethical chocolate, or are you happy spending the 50 cents knowing that what you're doing is contributing to highly destructive practices in the majority world? So I think it's on us to do the research, but I think it's on us to also to make the decisions about, is it more important to me to save 50 cents, or is it more important to me to make a tiny contribution, almost a philosophical statement that says, I will not endorse these practices.
A lot of our customers, they buy into what we're doing. Sometimes it's because they feel that they're going to make a difference, and this is a way that they can take part in what we're doing. Other customers just want a great guitar. Both reasons are totally valid and great reasons to order a guitar. The crux of the matter for our guys in Uganda is that they've got another guitar order, so they get to work and they get to earn money for their families. It's kind of perfect. Now, if we had to rely only on people feeling sorry for Africa and ordering guitars for that reason, I'd probably quit today, because that's not sustainable. There's no point in it. If we're not building guitars that are blowing your mind, then buy somebody else's guitar. If you buy one of our guitars, buy it because you want it, and hopefully it's just going to rock your world.
Are we going to tie into this zeitgeist that's out there at the moment, this kind of spirit of the age that's happening particularly in young people, that says we want to make a difference in the world, and we want to create a fairer and more just society? Or are we going to go with the other zeitgeist that's out there, which is I want it easy and I want convenience? And those two things are not always compatible. We've joined with Youth Unlimited to create a project called Just Us, and the reason why it's called Just Us is because it comes from a quote we have, which is, there is no other, there's just us. And the reason why we've done that is because there is an absolute desire in this emerging generation to say we want to do it differently, to see this thing called justice happen, but they don't really know what justice is. They know it's something they want to be involved in, and they think it's maybe a project, or we can make a difference here, or whatever. And I think the journey of justice is quite a long and messy one, but it does start with that one step, and so we're encouraging young people in particular to find the one thing that they can do that starts to make a difference. And I actually really believe, I've heard all the Bono phrases, and Bono's a bit of a hero for me, but I've heard all the Bono phrases and others about this is a generation that could end poverty. I don't believe that, because I don't think poverty is just material. It's relational, it's spiritual, it's the way we treat creation and everything. It's not just the money we have in our pocket, it's the sense of who we are. But I do believe this generation could really engage with some of the issues that systemically break us and break my friends in Rwanda and elsewhere. And so when I see what Jay's doing in particular, I see that's that one strand that's been grabbed hold of. And I see everyone that goes and buys a Duncan Africa is grabbing hold of that one strand that's been grabbed hold of. And it's making a difference that's really impacting that community. But I think it's a sign of things to come, not just a one project, but a sign of what a generation can do when it really decides we are going to change things.
I was blown away by the people, in getting to know the people. I learned more about Jesus from one man in that little town that then I learned in my whole life sitting here in church. Even though we have great teachers here, we have great systems in place, and so I was shocked and really humbled. I think that was the most refreshing part. Going over, being in Africa was humbling more than anything. The journey has been a long one. It's been really hard, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
You never know your effort in giving to others what it does until you hear a great testimony of change. Give a chance, a tool, or an opportunity. And in turn, you will marvel at the work done. So I would encourage other people all over to give out what they have to those who are in need. I would like to conclude by saying, let the Duncan Africa instrument change the world.
For me, my Duncan Africa was that one thing that Andy talks about. Buying it helped me to start thinking through the other things in my life and the people who made them. Seeing Simon's excitement and the pride he has in these amazing instruments inspires me to keep exploring this life behind my guitar and the many other things I take for granted in my life. Our connected world gives us access to more information than we can manage, but I can't let that be an excuse for being ignorant of how the things I need and have affect others. I love playing music for people and connecting with them through this guitar. The life behind it is one of dignity and hope, and I'm proud to play it.